Hello guys, it's Maddie Simish and welcome to another video where today I am bringing you a Windenburg renovation. So this is a renovation of Cottage MC, and I didn't know why it was called that, but I've just googled it, and apparently in German MC translates to at the lake or by the lake, which is like quite cute, and it is occupied by the Free Spirits household. So the Free Spirits are basically two women who are very artistic, and in their bio it says that they're both quite creative, but they understand that their house needs quite a few sort of renovations and updates. And to be honest, all EA builds need renovations and updates, so I thought it would be a bit fun to do an EA renovation for this video. So as I'm recording the audio, it is Monday the 17th, and I believe it is tomorrow that the latest Sims 4 kit comes out, which is the like Moroccan inspired build kit. So I am going to get that one, and I'll definitely be doing a few builds with that kit. So I was trying to think of what I could do, and I thought there's always like EA builds that need sort of improving and renovating. So this house wasn't actually too bad, especially the exterior. I actually quite liked the wallpapers and the roofing and things like that. It's probably one of the better ones that I have renovated. I mean, the inside was not very good, you know, it's all quite outdated, and like rooms are a lot bigger than they need to be. So I do kind of change the floor plan. Upstairs it's not too dissimilar, but the top floor was actually bigger than the bottom floor, so there was a lot of kind of bump outs at the top. So I basically got rid of all of those except for the one that extends over the front door, which you can see here. But it's like I kind of tried to keep it similar-ish to the original, but not completely. Like, it wasn't a strict rule for me. And this is, I think, like the only time I ever do sort of limited pack builds are when a new like big pack comes out, like Snow Escape or Eco Lifestyle or something like that. I would do like base game and that pack only, but generally I don't restrict myself in pack usage. And actually I hate the base game furniture. Maybe that's a bit strong. There are a few items that I think are really cool. There's a lot in actually the debug catalog that I really like, but generally I find that stuff quite outdated, and because of that also quite difficult to use. So I do use a lot of different packs, and so yeah, I struggle with that concept. So for example, I did actually mention it in my last video that I basically like never do base game only builds because of that. But I kind of decided last minute that as a little bit of a challenge, because I am renovating this house, I decided that I would make this build base game and get together only, because Windenburg is the world that we got with the get together pack. And yeah, this was my first time doing it. To be honest, it wasn't actually too bad. I think it is, you know, with expansion packs, they generally do come with quite a few different items, but Get Together was not the first expansion pack, but it was one of the first. So the other struggle I guess I had is I'm actually not too big of a fan of the style of Get Together and Windenburg. I know a lot of people say that Windenburg is their like favorite world, their favorite place to build in, their favorite place to play in, but it's not actually mine at all. I've mentioned before, my style is like modern and bohemian and things like that, whereas Windenburg, well, the thing is, I kind of realized recently that Windenburg does have different neighborhoods with different styles, so it does actually have some more modern builds, which I have kind of built in that area recently in a couple of my recent videos. But it does have some kind of neighborhoods that are a little bit more, because I know that Windenburg is kind of inspired by Europe, which I mean isn't its own, like, is not a country, but kind of like olden style. So you can see with like the wallpapers used and the stone, it's a little bit more old-fashioned than I usually like. So I've never done a build like this before, like in this style ever, let alone on my channel, but I thought it would be a really nice challenge, and I hope you liked it. I thought, you know, that was another benefit, like just because it's something not entirely familiar to me. It definitely did help kind of having this house as a starting point, having the exterior all done and just like updating it just a little bit with some debug plants, changing up the wallpaper a little bit. I did go for quite a solid dark brown theme, which kind of came from the exterior. I did originally use a lot of, I think it was kind of like stone and grey, and I did keep to that. I think I might have changed some things to light wood. But then I put that little like roofing decoration, and it had like a kind of reddy brown roof tile. So I decided to make the rest of the tile that reddy brown, and then decided to keep the brown theme throughout the rest of the build. And you can see the floor plan going on here. So in the downstairs, there is a bathroom, a kitchen, dining room, and a living room. And then upstairs, there is also a bathroom, 2 bedrooms, and kind of an office space. It's not its own room, but it's kind of separated off. And I've kind of kept to the story of the Free Spirits household, but not very strictly. So it says that one of the Sims is all about painting and the other one is all about writing. So one of the rooms does have an easel, as well as a few other like painting decorations like canvas and like a little sort of storage cupboard with paints and stuff in it. And there is a computer, as I said, but in my head, I was kind of imagining that both Sims that live here are musical. So the other thing that I was kind of thinking of to kind of inspire me with this decor, because as I said, the more like old-fashioned style, like you can see the wallpapers and the furniture that I'm using here, I just never ever use. And in my head, I kind of imagined that one of the Sims was a little bit more, not necessarily modern, but I don't know, maybe like one of them is quite old-fashioned and traditional, and I imagine that probably this is actually their house, which is why it's got this style. And then the person kind of like rents a room, and they're just a little bit more, you know, free-spirited, a little less traditional. So I imagine they're the painter. I imagine they're like that typical sort of creative type, probably a bit messy, whereas the other Sim who actually owns this house, they're a bit more old-fashioned in their style. They like to keep it kind of nice and tidy, but haven't really updated their furniture. And I imagine that they were a pianist, so I do put a piano in that room, and then, as I said, in the other one I do put an easel and a few sort of painting items in it. So it is essentially along the lines of the storyline. So this build is on the gallery if you would like to download it and play in it. My origin ID is MuddyJ1996, and I put it in the description of every video. But yeah, if you did want to play in this and you wanted to kind of keep the Free Spirits like storyline, you definitely could do. Even though, like I say, I did put a piano in one of the rooms, and it did mention that it was just one of them that was painting and one of them was writing. I definitely think they could be like musical and painting and writing, and you can do all of that in this house basically. So yeah, I did try to stick with a few creative items, which was especially useful as it is base game and get together only. So with those packs, there aren't perhaps as many activities as if you had the other packs. But yeah, so we are just doing the kitchen, and yeah, there is a little bit of like an outdated style, both in the bio of the Free Spirits household, but also in kind of what I was imagining when I was decorating. So the fridge and the oven are quite old in their style. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the furniture that I used in this build, like a vast majority of the furniture, in fact, that I used in this build, I rarely ever, if ever, use. So for example, this kitchen, like fridge and the oven, the cabinets and the counters, I basically never ever use them. So it was nice. It was, I think, like when you play The Sims a lot, which I do and have played for many, many years, it's nice to kind of change things up and sort of do things that you wouldn't usually do, try different things, try different build styles. So that's what I've tried here. It's, you know, it is a little bit more difficult. I definitely haven't changed my style. This hasn't made me want to build this kind of style more often, but I was kind of afraid of it, I guess. I didn't really know how to make this style look good. And I still don't think it particularly looks good, but one of the things I really like is it does just feel a little bit more homely. Like, not all houses in real life are modern. A lot of them are kind of outdated, but not necessarily ugly, just perhaps not been refurnished and like rebuilt recently. So I like that. I think it does kind of have that bit more cozy feel. I mean, this is a house for 2 adults, but I definitely could imagine like a really cute sort of family home built in this way. So yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought, basically. But yeah, it's definitely not my preferred style, both personally and Sims building. But yeah, I appreciated the challenge, and yeah, it was a nice break, because I think recently, when I've kind of sat down to do videos and trying to think of like what builds I can do, my head is always just like, okay, something bohemian, something colourful, an apartment, something quite modern, something retro. That's basically what I do almost all the time. And then when I like try to think of a new video to do, that's just like my go-to. So I thought I really wanted to kind of stop myself and just try something that I wouldn't usually do, something a little bit out of my comfort zone. So yeah, I mean, I wonder like how many people really do like this style, because as I said, I know a lot of people really like the pack get together, and they like Windenburg. So I imagine a lot of people do kind of like this style. And I know there's a lot of builders on YouTube that love kind of suburban, a bit more like family home, sometimes a little bit more, I guess, traditional. And when I say old-fashioned, I always think it sounds really negative, but it isn't always negative. I just mean like not super modern. I know a lot of people do like that style, but yeah, it definitely isn't for me. But yeah, I do have a lot more confidence to try it once in a while. So I don't think I'll be doing another build like this anytime soon, but I will be doing more builds again, especially like renovations, because as I say, I think if you want to kind of experiment with a style that you're not too familiar with, I think renovating an existing house is a really sort of good way to start. But yes, this is the upstairs, and this is the little office space that I was talking about. So yeah, one of the Free Spirits household, actually, I think they do both have like careers in painting and writing, so this would be a really great spot for that. And then the bathroom, as I said, EA builds, they just always are so big, so this bathroom was a lot bigger. I think the bedrooms I roughly kept the same size, but essentially because there isn't that much else. Like upstairs, yeah, you've got that little office space, you've got the bathroom, but apart from that, it's just the bedrooms. And they are both adults as well. So I wanted to make sure that they had quite a decent size. And also throughout the rest of the build, apart from that computer, there isn't any kind of like hobby or skill building like downstairs, for example. So I did want to kind of keep that to their room. I imagine like, they do get on, but they're not exactly best of friends. So they probably will kind of spend most of their time like in their bedroom. So yeah, one practicing piano, one painting, things like that. So yeah, this is the bedroom, I think, for the like more traditional sim. As I said, I was kind of imagining that they were actually like, one actually owned the house and the other one was just renting. And because there is a piano, I don't know, I just imagine that they perhaps are quite proficient in piano. Maybe they license their own songs as well. So that's probably how they've managed to afford this house. But yeah, if you do want to play to like the traditional Free Spirits story, then they are actually a painter. Although I think, one's a painter, one's a writer. So maybe one writes their songs and writes books as well, and the other one is a painter. I think, yeah, that's really cool. I think, this wouldn't be my typical house for creative sims. I always imagine creatives to be a lot more modern and kind of young in their style, but not all creative people are young. So I think this is quite a nice bit of representation, I guess. And in this room, I did want to incorporate a little bit more of a green theme because, yeah, there's a lot of brown in this build. And I just wanted a little bit of color variation because, yeah, I guess like, because it's not my normal style, I usually do like something a little bit more modern. I sometimes worry, like, I just don't want it to come across as like boring and like a grandmother's house. So I did want to kind of add little splashes of color and personality here and there. So yeah, it was a fun challenge, but definitely a challenge, and I hope that you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!